What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. It appears we have some details from GamesCom and they're quite peculiar in their nature. I really enjoy seeing things like this when it comes to Gotham Knights. The developers pretty much are announcing their Gamescom showcase and their opening night's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're paying attention to this and you want to see what's going on, well, here's the date and the time that you're pretty much going to have to look out for in order for you to catch a glimpse of what the developers are going to be showing at the Gamescom showcase. Now, the picture that they advertised this with is an evidence board, shows Bruce Wayne, shows a ball, masquerade ball, shows Mr. Freeze, and also a GCPD folder, that says GCPD corruption or whatever it is. And this is quite interesting because they're cluing us as to some of the villains and a few things that we've already seen before. The ball has a little key here. The masquerade ball has a key here that looks like something from an emblem with a court of owls. We already see the fire at the university library last night, which is where Batgirl was actually at during that gameplay that we got to see from IGN. So it's actually interesting that they're showcasing some of these things. And for us in the community, we're in a position where it's just, icing on top of the cake. This development firm has taken so much time to show so much and are still showing a lot more, and possibly will still keep showing more as the game is getting closer to release. And I think one of the crazy things too is, the skepticism from Cyberpunk has not waned. In fact, just recently, in a conversation with one of my audience members here, someone just asked and said, why in the F would you ever pre-order a game? And I was laughing because we go back to the Cyberpunk 2077 conversation, but I can tell you for sure everything that we saw in Cyberpunk 2077 before the game got released, and I can guarantee you that we did not see a plethora and different facets of their game as we have Gotham Knights. So it's not a question of one game versus the other game. It's just a matter of how much information you're going with in order for you to be able to say, okay, I'm making this decision based off of the information that I have. And I think for the argument now, a lot of people, how the goalpost always shifts, right? The goalpost now is the performance might be bad. And I'm like, well, I mean, if that's the case, then how did the developers, how did the presenters at IGN get to play about 16 minutes of the game for us? I mean, is the bug in the middle of the game or is it at the end and they're hiding it? So we have to keep moving this goalpost until the developers actually stream the full game. And then we realize that there's not a single issue in this game. And then we all can now make that decision to buy the game. I'm being sarcastic if you didn't catch my tone because I've not seen the perfect game. In fact, my game of the year, Elden Ring, was a little buggy and stuttery on PC when I played it. And eventually the developers went ahead and fixed all of that. So if that, in my opinion, I can give some benefit of the doubt, then I have to be consistent in how I actually approach other video games. And I feel like here in the gaming world, that consistency should be also allowed. So if someone is not going to pre-order a game and never does that and is skeptic about a game, then I feel they can be consistent and be skeptic about every other single game that's also out there. And then another really cool and interesting, aspect too is the amount and the variety of information that's also coming out with this particular game is something that should be applauded. And I think they're setting a bar that many other games are going to be pressured into, or at least influenced into showing, because today is the day, or this age is the age of you bringing your work to the forefront. There's no, room for just giving a CGI trailer and then walking away and leaving people wanting more, and then they're going to be hyped. Gotham Knights from day one brought gameplay. This is a fact. There is no denying this reality. If you guys can remember when the developers pretty much, showed their gameplay from the 2020 DC fandom event, they brought this gameplay, and this is it. I told people that this was the game, and they thought I was crazy. They said, how is it possible that they will bring gameplay right off the bat? I said, well, you could see some things. You could see that this game actually had some stuttering. In fact, if there are any bugs you're looking for, you could have seen some of them here. Like, look, when Red Hood actually kind of joined the session and they kind of like scrolled to, they turned the camera to see him. You see that stutter right there? That, in my opinion, was one of the loading bugs that, or maybe I would say, memory demands that kind of caused a little bit of the stuttering for that. And so if by now, after 2 years, they've not been able to fine tune this, and after canceling a whole console generation, then that will be a strange thing, because issues like these usually happen when the hardware is not necessarily strong enough to carry a lot of what the game is actually delivering or trying to represent. But for me, I think a lot of these issues must have been ironed out by now. I mean, the game has gone gold, and Warner Brothers is not in the mood to release anything that is not, up to quality. There is a statement that's being made from other directions, and I'm taking that statement at face value. They just canceled a $100 million product in Batgirl and a Scooby-Doo movie. So that speaks volumes, and I think this team has only one shot to get it right before they start to see David Z start making some really interesting tweaks to their whole setup. But anyways, keep an eye out for the Gamescom presentations. I really want to see exactly what the developers are able to bring to the table. So we'll talk in another video. I appreciate the time and audience. Thanks so much. Peace out.